All right, I'm going to be straight with you today. I really don't feel great. My allergies are hitting me hard. I've been back home and away trying to get stuff done. I got a pile of work in front of me that has nothing to do with this channel and stuff I have to do to keep the lights on. And I'm sitting here anyways because this channel matters to me. And I realize that I haven't been as consistent as what I wanted to be where I want to be. But again, I want to do this channel. And so I'm going to be making some changes here that will better represent real life in this channel. And so here's what I've been thinking about lately. I've been trying to keep life in this channel in separate lanes, giving you the teaching, keep the mess off screen, but I'm not sure that's honest anymore. I think it's better to see life as it's happening as you're doing recovery and your walk with faith, because the truth is faith and recovery don't happen in a classroom. They happen in the middle of a mess. They happen when you don't feel well, when the money isn't settled, when you've got too many directions to pull and not enough clarity to move. That's where I'm at today. And I think that's exactly where you might be too if you're watching this. I mean, we've got to struggle to make things happen, and trying to look perfect just doesn't work. So today we're talking about learning to sit in this discomfort. And I'm not teaching this from the other side of it. I'm going to teach it from inside of it, of what I'm experiencing and what other people are experiencing. I talk to guys all the time. I help them through their deals. Maybe you get to help me through mine. This is episode 33 of the Steady Man series. I'm Kirk Taylor. Let's go. So here's where we're going today. First, I'm going to name what discomfort actually is, because I think most of us are carrying a wrong direction. Second, I want to show you what it looks like when a man runs from discomfort and what it costs him. Third, I'm going to walk you through what it actually means to sit in it, not just survive it, not just to white knuckle through it, but sit in it. And fourth, I want to give you something you can do this week. One practice, not a system, just a place to start. And maybe I'm going to do that with you too. So let's start with the definition. Most people think discomfort is a signal that something is wrong. That's the assumption underneath almost everything. I thought this for a long time. I was always trying to fix what I felt was wrong, because if I feel anxious, something is wrong. If I feel unsettled, something is wrong. If there is tension in my chest or heaviness in my mind, or a situation that I don't know how to resolve, something is wrong. And sometimes that's true. Sometimes discomfort is a warning signal. Sometimes it's your body telling you that you're in danger, or that you've crossed a line, or that something needs to change. But a lot of this time, and I want you to hear this, discomfort is not a warning. It is a doorway. And as I think back, every time something changed for the better, things were really difficult right before. They were really hard, but then they got really great. And it is the feeling on the other side of which something real is waiting for you. Think about the most significant growth you have ever experienced in your life. The moments when you become more of who you are actually supposed to be. Were any of those moments uncomfortable? Were any of those moments comfortable? Were any of them easy? Of course not. Everything real costs something. Everything that is valuable costs something. Discomfort is not the absence of growth. Discomfort is often the evidence that growth is actually happening. You know, we're going through some really, really difficult times. But we're starting to see that maybe those really difficult times are going to make us enjoy life on the other side a lot more than we would have, and maybe even save us from problems down the road. The problem is that we've been trained by the culture, by habits, by years of reaching for the nearest thing that makes us feel better, to treat discomfort like a fire alarm. The moment it goes off, we run for the exit, and then we get no place. We scroll, we drink, we work more hours, we pick a fight, we go numb, we busy ourselves into exhaustion. We do anything so that we don't have to sit in this feeling. And it might work. It works in the short term, it works perfectly, but that feeling goes away so fast. The thing that feeling was pointing at, it's still there waiting. I want to talk about what it actually costs a man when he consistently refuses to sit in discomfort. And the first thing it costs him is self-knowledge. You cannot know yourself if you're always running from yourself. The discomfort you keep avoiding is often the exact territory where the most important thing about you live. Your unresolved grief, your fear of failure, your need for approval that you have never admitted out loud, your anger that you have never traced to its actual source. A man who has never sat in his own discomfort is a man who does not know himself very well, and a man who does not know himself cannot be trusted, not fully because he does not know what he is capable of, or what he is hiding from, or what he is likely to do when the pressure gets high enough. The second thing it costs him is depth in relationships. Intimacy, real intimacy. Not just physical closeness, but the kind of knowing that takes years to build. Intimacy requires the willingness to be in uncomfortable conversations, to stay in the room when things get hard, to not shut down or blow up or deflect when something real is being said. And I think that one I own. The man who has learned to run from discomfort will eventually run from the people who love him most, not because he doesn't love them, because love, when it gets serious, gets uncomfortable, and he doesn't know how to stay. The third thing it costs him is his faith. And I want to say this carefully because this matters. A faith that has never been tested in discomfort is a faith built on comfort, and a faith built on comfort will not hold when comfort disappears. Now, I have learned this, and I have gotten better about holding through when it's uncomfortable. And there is a reason the desert shows up so much in Scripture. There is a reason the wilderness is not an accident in the story. It is an assignment, and God does some of his most significant work in the places where there is no shade, no water, and no easy exit. If you have been running from your wilderness, and I do not mean that literally, I mean the internal place that are hard and dry and uncomfortable. If you have been avoiding those places, you may have also been avoiding some of what God has been trying to do in you. So what does it mean to sit in discomfort? Because I'm not talking about suffering. I'm not talking about self-punishment. I'm not talking about refusing to get help or refusing to feel better or grinding yourself in the ground in the name of toughness. Sitting in discomfort means something specific. Let me try to name it. It means you feel the feeling without immediately trying to fix the feeling. That's it. That is the practice. You feel it, you name it, you locate it, you let it be present without reaching for the thing that makes it go away. You don't have to enjoy it. You don't have to understand it immediately. You don't have to resolve it in the next 10 minutes. You just have to stay in the room with it long enough to actually hear what it is saying. Because discomfort always has something to say. It is never just noise. it is information. The anxiety that comes up when you think about a hard conversation that is telling you something about what you value, what you fear, and what you have been avoiding, the restlessness you feel in the middle of the night, that's not random. That is something in you that wants to be seen. The anger that flares up faster than you expected, that is usually pain that has been waiting for someone to notice it. Sitting in discomfort means you stop treating yourself like a problem to be solved and start treating yourself like a person to be understood. And this is where faith actually becomes practical. Because when you are sitting in something hard and you do not have an answer and you do not know how long it's going to last, that is not the absence of faith. That is faith. That is trusting that God is present in the uncomfortable place, that He has not abandoned you in the desert, that He is in this with you. Romans 5 says that suffering produces perseverance, and perseverance produces character, and character produces hope. That is not a formula for avoiding hard things. That is a description of what happens when you go through them. The steady man is not the man who never feels discomfort. He is the man who has learned to stay in the room with it. I said I was going to give you one thing to do this week. Here it is. Pick one situation in your life right now that is uncomfortable. One thing you have been avoiding. It's a conversation, a decision, a feeling, a question you don't have an answer to. And for 10 minutes, I'm not asking for an hour. I'm asking for 10 minutes. Sit with it. Don't solve it. Don't call someone to process it immediately. Don't open your phone. Just sit with it and ask one question. What are you trying to tell me? That's it. 10 minutes. One question. Let yourself be with the thing you have been running from. You might not get a clean answer, and that is okay. The point is not to resolve it. The point is to stay in the room, to practice being a man who does not run. And if you want to pray, pray simply. Lord, I don't know what to do with this. I don't know what this means, but I'm not going to run from it today. Help me be present to what you are doing here. That is a steady man's prayer. We've been talking about discomfort today, what it actually is, what it costs a man to keep running from it, and what it looks like to stay in the room with it, and to one practice to start with this week. Now, I want to leave you with this. The men I respect most, the ones who have walked through genuinely hard things and come out the other side as men of character and depth and quiet strength. Almost none of them got there by finding a way around the hard thing. They got there by going through it. They learned to sit in discomfort, not because they were built differently, not because they had some spiritual superpower, but because at some point they stopped running and started staying. That is available to you starting this week, starting with 10 minutes. You can become the kind of man who stays in the room, and that is what a steady man does. If this episode hits something real for you, share it with one person, one man in your life who you think needs to hear it. That is the most useful thing you can do with this content. If you're new to this channel, the Steady Man series is a 50 episode walkthrough what it looks like to build a life of faith, character, and steady manhood. Every episode builds, starting from the beginning or dive in wherever you are. Hit subscribe if you want me to keep walking through this with me, and I will see you in the next one.